There's a confusion out there. Spiritual awakening and an ego awakening are two separate things. Some people think that their ego awakening is a mistake for a spiritual awakening, and that's what seems to be happening when people think, I can be somebody, I can be something. And of course, you have the ability to be all kinds of things in life, but let's say you accomplish something. After you accomplish it, you're no longer that accomplishment. So you were something, but now you're the next thing. So you're a continuous line of motion. The definition of life itself would be something along the lines of light in form expressed. But then when you get into a personal thing, it would be, light in forward expression. You're a being of light. You're now conscious of yourself. Let's go through the stages of the consciousness continuum. Now, a person has all their experiences and takes those along with them, remembers what they remember, thinks about what they're going to do in the future, and then moves into their future. Light, energy, water, memory, those kind of things, they go through your body. And let's say it goes through your body and you have all these disturbed thoughts and all these ways of thinking, and then that water goes through you back into the ground, back into the sky. Well, that adjusted that consciousness continuum. Now, everyone and everything is doing that, from the smallest plant to the animal to the human being. Now, human beings don't have a more superior, presence in existence, but we're able to do things with our minds, hands, bodies, and when we group together and make plans for action, we can do a lot of amazing things. So human beings have this gift of building and cooperating and making amazing things happen. But it doesn't mean that we're superior. In fact, we make a lot of mistakes. And when you actually truly have a spiritual awakening, your ego awakening goes away. Because you start thinking, do I want to accomplish a whole bunch of stuff and earn a whole lot of material and destroy this to make that out of it? Like, is that what I'm going to be making from this going to be more beneficial than this actually is? Start thinking about it like that. Is tearing down this, or leveling this area to build a shop where you sell dead animals, is that better than what that used to be? I don't think so. We don't want to make it into something that's actually less beneficial for nature, but we've been doing that. Now, the consciousness continuum is what I want to stay on this time. And what that would be, let's say a child, how often are you truly conscious of your thoughts? Today you're thinking of something right now, and then your brain just goes wandering off and you start thinking about La La Land. Until you get the ability to focus, you're not really that conscious of your life all the time. When you do become conscious of your life all the time, it can get very daunting, and it holds on to your brain so much that you're like, man, I just want to relax and not be thinking like this. And when you can let go of the fact that nothing you do really matters all that much, except for inside your soul's progression. The consciousness continuum isn't me, it isn't you, it's all of us together. So if there's billions of people with negative attitudes, the water, the earth, everything that goes through them, the spiritual moment that goes through them, and it changes through that consciousness continuum. It's a continuous update. So I think good thoughts and I stay good thinking. Any water or element that goes through my body is now updated for a better way of thinking. But if everyone else is still thinking negatively, the consciousness continuum around me seems to have those kind of thoughts and things in them, which of course they do. So then people exclude themselves from the rest of the world so they can be alone in their own world, and they can live the rest of their life in their own world without anyone else around and have a great life. But if you want to affect what you think the world is, you have to stay conscious. You have to stay doing right things, right actions, even when you're in the world full of people who are doing things that, even though we say there's no wrong or right, they're doing things that are not conducive for good living, for spiritual progress, for soul's progression of anything. They're just holding people down, doing little self-gratifying things, little tedious, uneventful, lusty, violent, vulgar, people think is funny stuff, but it's not. It's so over with now. But there are people just moving into that mind frame of, oh, pervertedness and, you know, violence and fighting is a meaningful thing. You know, you have to be able to fight, because if you can't protect yourself, then blah blah blah. If the world was conscious enough, you wouldn't have the idea of fighting or hurting or harming or taking from someone else, because you have everything provided for you, do you not? Now the issue that holds us from what we have is other people thinking they have power or superiority over us. Now, I'm not going to get into that either, because that's a totally different thing that goes into people mind and people way of thinking that isn't conducive for spirituality. Now, what we have to do is find a way to get people who have their brains clouded with ego awakening, thinking that having a world of economic structure and stock markets makes any damn sense. And we have to start making them see what really does make sense. Striving to grow, not gaining for one's own, because one's own is nothing. When that one is gone, what happens to that one stuff? It spreads out to their family, and they become a bunch of other ones who say me, 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 me. And eventually those, say a father has two children and splits off, when the father dies, his assets split off into his two children. One goes forward with it and thinks what they're doing is good. The other one blows the money and buys all this stuff. They can end up hating each other over the money that was given to them, because it's money, it's an idea. The idea of money is just so that you see what you feel in your soul is valuable. Money is never valuable, and it will never be valuable. Life itself is valuable. Light in forward expression, the big term. And you can be light in form, expressing through your individual life. But even when you die, your end product of your soul will remember what you went through in your life and take that with you into the continuum that always keeps going. And it'll always be that way, no matter what other people have told you, no matter what a book says from the past, or no matter what a book in the future may say. Your conscious continuum will always be what it is, as long as you can stay on top of your thinking. At one point, there was light that invested itself into your being as you became a baby into the world, and it wasn't very conscious. It went through all kinds of ups and downs of expressions, and now it's conscious of itself. You're a human being. You're a light manager, in-form being. So as you go through your life, the more conscious you stay as a spiritual being, not an ego, the more you upgrade the continuum. The consciousness continuum wants you to stay conscious of your activities and your thoughts. But if you don't, and you let everybody else rule you, you're not going to do anything but harm yourself. You may think you're harming other people or doing things that make you happy by taking from others, but eventually it really does harm yourself. Because when you realize that no physical possession was ever yours at the end of it all, what did you do but take from others? What did you do but harm others? What did you do but steal from others or hoard for yourself, just so it could be let there when you left, when you go? And if you can really take that in and listen to what I'm saying, not be in this moment, not think gimme, 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 not think what do I want so bad, not think what can I do to entertain myself. Instead of those things, as in ego awakening, use a spiritual awakening to say, how can I get closer to the source that created me and all things? How can I help those other beings who are confused? And how can I help make it right where beings who think they're in control of us will let go of that idea so that we can truly live a free life? Now, when I say this stuff, I know it's true. I've been to the place where everything goes after this lifetime is over. Well, when it continues, but out of your individual lifetime. I know where that place is, and I've been there. It's like home to me. There's nothing in this physical world that is as real to me as the spiritual world. I'm here and I know exactly what's going on. But I'm around a whole bunch of ego-awakened people who are trying to find prosperity and abundance and affluence outside themselves in a world that is just material and figures and forms, that inside their spiritual being, they're still looking outside for figures and forms to make their spiritual being feel better. And that'll never happen until their heart is open and their mind realizes that the abundance is the amount of love you have. That's the conscious continuum, and that's the upgrade we're looking for. That's all I want to say for now. Peace be with you all. I love you.